And greetings, everyone who was ready and waiting for this to kick on. And wow, seems like there's more people than expected. Well, you can hold on while I send something to Sean if he so desires to do it. Alright, now that that's done, let's see who all we have out there. I know I saw Gio. Hey, Alan, Farmer's Boy. Well, wait a minute. Bo, do you count? I mean, come on. Do gingers really count? And at least I can say I'm not entirely ginger because I do have a bit of blonde going on. So, yeah, I figured a good way to get some more attention and activity on the channel was to go ahead and, after the teaser launch video I did the other day to get everything started to whet the appetite, we can go ahead and have a more live, interactive, ask me anything kind of event for you guys. Oh, hey, what's wrong with the beautiful classic styling bikes, Farmer's Boy? Hey, and at least you can say this, at least they're not the 999 family. No notification from Patreon. Alright, I'll have to look into that and fix it. Yay, Patreon is not ill that it was cracked up to be. Which, by the way, Farmer's Boy, the images that are in the slideshow that I'm doing this on are just ones that I like. Like that one, this one right here, is a bike located at an indoor go-kart track that I would go to often. Oh boy. Oh boy. Gio has a question. This'll be interesting. See, that's where it's a good thing I'm an electrical engineer because I don't have electrical problems on my bike because I've actually gone through it and made sure that they're good. Ooh. Here, would I rather drive a Volkswagen branded bike or Ducati branded? I would have to say the Ducati brand because that is actually the brand that really caught my attention and brought me into the motorcycle world. So there is that bit of brand loyalty that I would have to go there. So, and yes, I know. They're the same company right now. They have the same upper management. But it's just that. You get that recognition of the Ducati name, especially with the history they have from the track. Yeah, I changed drive to ride. Now, Ducati branded car. Ooh. A VW branded bike or Ducati branded car. You know what? I would have to go with the VW bike in that. You did catch me on that one. I didn't read it clearly. But yeah, the Volkswagen bike would. I have more confidence in that being engineered and manufactured to an acceptable level, rather than trying to take what Ducati is known for and try to put that to four wheels. Yeah. But, although the main thing that Ducati is known for is the Desmo drive for the valve timing. So I wonder, from an engineering standpoint, how that would work on a car. And it's not much different than the timing belts and timing chains that are already used. So what would really make it any different. Plus, how would the styling be? There's so many possibilities with that one. Oh, the word is good. Ducati started as a bicycle. Well, they started as an electronics company and also bicycles. It wasn't until the, when was that, the 30s? The interwar period between World War I and II, where they actually started to do motorized bicycles. And then in the post-war years, they gravitated slightly away from the electronic side and focused more on the motorcycles because it was it really went into what they're known for now. Actually started in the early 40s, but really took off in the 50s with the production of the GP250, and it is only really mechanically closed valves, isn't it? No, so the Desmo drive is your positive control of the valve in both directions, open and close. Whereas the majority of your cam operations, the majority of your valve operations in an internal combustion engine, you have positive opening of the valve, but then you rely on a spring for the close of the valve. Back in the 30s and 40s, as the engine would rev higher, you would start to get a delay due to metallurgy and manufacturing issues with the springs they were using for the valve return. So the engineers at Ducati decided, well, let's get rid of the springs entirely and do a positive actuation in both the opening direction and the closing direction. That's the desmodromic valve train. They are still the only ones to do that. What action cams are you using in mounting positions? So right now I currently only have the Sony Action Cam FDRX 3000, which is going to be versatile. It's going to be my primary camera. I'm actually trying to find a handheld mount that I can use for an event coming up this Friday. Otherwise, while riding, that camera will be side mounted on my helmet right about the corner of my on the right side of my jaw. So it'll be on the throttle side of the bike, looking close to the exact direction that I'm looking, but still giving you guys a view of the dash, the display, the controls, and what's ahead. And where I look, you guys will be looking as well. Do you know that there were around 50 different motorcycle manufacturers in Nuremberg simultaneously at one point? I was not aware that they had that sort of density. But of the ones that were there, how many are still around in manufacturing? I'm assuming BMW was one of them. For faulty timing chains. Oh, yeah. If you have pictures from the Ducati Museum, I would love it. It'll be a little while before I can actually get to the factory museum, but that is on the bucket list. So, the unfortunate bit is I was going through pictures to include in the folder for the slideshow. I was trying to find more of the action shots, the actual high-quality images of Fogarty after he moved to Ducati, but unfortunately wasn't able to see it. All the Nuremberg ones are gone. Well, that's unfortunate. Although I will say this, when it comes to preferential brand, I do gravitate Ducati because the engine sound. I never liked the sound of the inline 4 engines. I always preferred that more throaty growl of the twin, but also the styling. At mid 90s, the the 916 family line is just sex on wheels. That it was the first time that I have heard that term, and it actually matched what you were seeing. And I will admit, I was among the group that really did not like the look of the 999 family, but that's what happens when you have a Frenchman designing an Italian bike. Now, don't get me wrong. Pierre Treblanche did have his gems that were produced during his time as a designer and a lead engineer for Ducati, but oh yeah, the crossplane fours they sent. Yeah, but the thing with the Yamaha engine note is better now that they went with the crossplane, which was inspired by their MotoGP stuff. My main gripe with the inline fours, the 90% of my riding is going to be on the street, which is why I went with a Monster 620. I didn't immediately go for something bigger, something even more sport orientated. I kept it reasonable in that aspect. Why? Because I know I'm not going to be going crazy like this image right here of Troy back in 2008 when the 1098 was launched. But I wanted it to be usable, and mostly the power that you actually use on a bike in regular street riding is mid and low end. You should be more worried about torque and delivery than true top end power. Don't get me wrong, an inline 4 CC to CC with a twin, or even if you do the funky World Superbike equivocation of a 750cc inline 4 against a 1000cc V twin, the inline 4 is going to have the top end. Just hands down. That is where the inline 4 ends up making the bulk of its power, is mid to high in the rev range. The twin is happy across the rev range, but excels compared to the 4 in the low to mid. And when you're racing, when you're taking corners, you're changing speeds, you're changing gears, guess what? You're not sitting around 8, 9 plus the sound and the looks. So, what can I say? Sometimes I'm easy to please. And yes, when I first got into motorcycles and racing, the top GP class was still the 500cc with Mick Doohan. Fuck, could that guy ride? But then again, he was also on the best 500cc bike at the time. I mean, you got to give Honda credit. Those guys can design a race bike. I mean, even look at MotoGP right now with the RC213V. That bike really makes champions out of people when you look at it. I mean, the MotoGP history, since they went away from the 500cc and went to the GP format, with the exception of Rossi on Yamaha, every championship has been won by Honda. Think about that. With the exception of the few years that Rossi brought Yamaha back to the pinnacle with the YZF M1, outside of those years, it was the top Honda riders that were winning the championship. I mean, who would have thought that Marc Marquez would be a 7-time champion. Or Pedrosa winning the championship. I mean, the main outlier, which, yes, he did come across the slideshow earlier with Casey Stoner winning the MotoGP championship in 07 on the Desmo Sedici, the Ducati bike, but you cannot deny what Honda Engineering and especially HRC, the racing portion of Honda Corp, has been able to do. Yeah. Yep. I just mentioned Stoner. Now, it really is a shame that Stoner had the medical issues that he does and had to retire, because he's damn near my age. He's in his 30s, mid 30s, maybe early 30s at this point. I can't remember off the top of my head, but imagine if he was able to get up to that level like he had reached in 07 and then maintain it. So, talking about the electric bikes, here's something really funny. It's already been leaked that Ducati is already working on an electric power plant and an electric bike, not just the electric assist mountain bike that is part of the product release for the 2019 model year. Got a Honda 650 Dominator and a Suzuki 600 Bandit in need of TLC. Yeah. And, well, how much TLC are they in need of, Farmer's Boy? I know there's going to be a delay with the chat. Now, see, here's the thing. They are still easily a couple years out from launching the electric bike from Ducati. But in the meantime, I still want to ride. And gonna take what I can get at this point. Ooh. Motocross. Yeah. Motocross is definitely a unique beast. And it's funny you mention that, because since retiring from World Superbike for medical reasons, Fogarty is now a champion motocross racer again. And speaking of Fogarty, there's the number 2 that he won the championship on. See, what I've found interesting, I've actually come across a couple videos where people have been riding around on the 916 body style family, and people would take a guess at the bike's age and would guess that, oh, it's probably about 10, 12 years old at this point. So you're looking 2008, 2006, maybe 2005. But no, that design was done in 94. So think about that. A bike that aesthetically competes with today's bikes, but was designed in 1994. I guess it just goes to show, when you get something right, it just always looks right. I used to fool about on crossers a lot. Good fun getting 30 feet in the air. Yeah, you can have all that. So here's something that's really funny is, yes, I was in the Navy, for those who are unaware. Yes, I occasionally had to work atop the superstructure on top of the island on an aircraft carrier. So at that point, I'm almost 200 feet off the water, and I fucking hate heights. Like, I have a healthy fear of unsafe conditions at altitude. And yeah, some of the jumps and some of the tricks that motocross riders can do, have at it. Not for me. Fun to watch, fun to see, but you guys can go do that on your own. The CBX. Actually going back up, Gio, you mentioned the Honda CBX line. And it's funny you mentioned that, is actually when I did day 2 of the range time to get my motorcycle endorsement, and I was on a different bike than I was at the week before on range day 1. So range day 1, I was on a 1994 or 95 Honda Nighthawk, a low cc sport cruiser that had absolutely nothing for rear brakes. It was rear drum brakes that made more sound than actually stopped the bike. But I guess it's a good thing that I was comfortable and confident in using entirely the front brakes that day. Well, come back a week later, that bike's not an option because it needs to be repaired. Shocker. So I end up riding a Honda CB300F, the 300cc entry-level CB naked bike from Honda that they've launched a couple years ago. And that bike was fun. Throttle response was better than expected for a beat-up training bike at a motorcycle safety course offering. But at the same time, it wanted to go faster than what the instructors wanted me to. So they kept saying, oh no, leave it in second gear. But at the speed that we were going, the bike wanted to be in third gear. The bike was higher in the rev range. So the first couple times we do a couple warm-up laps, and so we're going around, shift up in the second, and we're getting up to speed, and it's like, okay, revs are kind of high, let's shift up into third, boom, and I just maintain there. Lower in the rev range, but in third gear, so I can go either direction if I needed to. The instructors are like, oh, no, leave it in second. I'm like, really? Okay. After the next drill, they're like, why was your engine revving higher? It's like, you told me to stay in second. Oh, they look at the bike. Oh, you're on this bike. Okay, yeah, just don't over rev the engine too much. I'm like, okay, you have that much trust in me already. Great. Dumbest 650 single, 45 horsepower, but with sticky road tires. Oh, yeah, see, that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize you don't need triple-digit horsepower numbers to have fun on the road. At launch, if I remember correctly, the 620 Monster that I have only made about 66 to 68 horsepower top end, but it was high 60s, low 70s pounds per inch for torque. The torque number was at the same level as the horsepower number. And that's the thing, is when you have that sort of balance, it'll take off, it'll run, and it'll run at highway speed. So it's like, why would you, on the street, why would you need over 100 horsepower on the top end of your bike? I can see if you have one bike and you do track days and you do regular riding, I can see having a high horsepower bike for that point. I get it. Because you're doing both, which is actually what I would consider doing if and when I get my hands on a either a 996, 998, maybe the 1098, depending on what's available when it comes around time for that. Because I'm a hooligan? Okay, yeah, you do have a point there, Judd. But yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm going to be an angel on the road. Will I go above the speed limit? Yeah, it's going to happen. Am I going to be a nutcase on the road? Well, depends on what you mean by nutcase. From Gale, I really love vehicles that have nice torque output at low RPM. My first car needed to be revved all the way up before starting to move at all. Yeah. We have 2 great old highway sections that are great for road bikes. Lots of corners and short and long straights, but the speed is limited. Yeah, Terry. See, that's why there are sections of the Autobahn setup in Germany that I would love to take a bike on, but at the same time, there's yeah, speed limits, they're a thing outside of Germany. Actually, speaking of Germany, there's another channel that I watch regularly, 44 Teeth, couple of British guys who have a lot of fun on bikes. One of them actually used to race in the British Superbike Championship, and one of their recent trips, so they did a budget bike battle where one of them was on a Ducati 999S and the other was on an MV Agusta F4. I want to say it was the 320. Oh, good point, Terry. Let me fix that. Yeah, Judd. Awesome guys. So you probably know the section of the German road that I'm about to talk about. But on day 2 of their trip, I think it was, they ended up in the Black Forest area. And the stretch of road that they were on, just, I had to go back and rewatch sections of it because it's the type of riding that I'm looking forward to doing for a lot of the material, is the simple couple lane road, good tarmac conditions, sweeping curves, and just absolutely fucking gorgeous scenery around it. I mean, that, to me, that's what being out on a bike is about, is being closer to the environment that you're actually observing and riding through, and having a better appreciation for it. On highways, there is no general speed limit. There's a recommended speed, but legally you can drive as fast as you want. My personal record is 225. Yeah, that road in Black Forest is not in. Yeah, I'm aware there's a speed limit on that road, but it's still, what really is the appeal to me on that road is, I'll admit, yes, I enjoy going fast in a straight line, but I enjoy the turns. Each of the range days, I had to be careful and be really mindful of myself, because during a lot of the turning drills, I found myself starting to shift off the side of the bike a bit and really getting into the technical riding side of things. And the first week I did that, one of the instructors was like, so you're going to be coming back for more of the courses, right? Like hinting that we see you enjoy it, we see you get it, and are riding. So yes, come back. We want to show you more, but because of the class setup, they weren't allowed to go more into the technical riding skills, and also it was on their bikes. Would I do the Nuremberg Ring? Oh, now that they've gone through and repaved a few sections to try to smooth it out, oh yeah. If I get the chance, I mean, hell, if someone wants to front the money and get the bike, I have the helmet, I will go. If someone wants to pay the way, I will do everything I need to on my end, and I will go and haul ass around that track. That, oh, the other one is the yeah. Those metal bars that are made to keep cars from falling off the cliff next to a road are notorious for grabbing motorcycle for gibbing. Gibbing? Interesting word. Did you mean grinding? Motorcyclists into little bits. See, and that's the thing is there is a risk calculation that you have to be self-aware enough to do inside your head as you're riding. Is like you have to be honest with yourself about where your skill level is and where the material condition and the conditions of not just the road and the weather, but also your bike and its tires are. And realize, okay, for this conditions at this speed, I should only be going this hard. And that's the thing is, I have enough of a healthy fear against personal injury, but that's also why I actually last night I was taking a look at it, totaled up between the investment I've already made in riding gear and the final bits that I'm going to invest in, not including two pieces specific to the sport bike that are not going to happen until I get the sport bike itself. Just the gear for regular riding for the entirety of the riding season that I'm going to be at in this area. I have and will soon be hitting $3,000 US invested in just gear for riding out the door. The total investment on the bike was little over $3,000. It ended up being 3580 all told, between insurance, registration, taxes, inspection, everything. All told out of pocket to have the bike legally in my possession as it sits right now was just over was actually, let's call it 3600. Between the helmet, gloves, jackets, back protector, shoes, pants, all the riding gear in total that I have and will be getting over the course of the next month and a half, $3,095, so just under $3,100 invested in just the riding gear. That's not including the camera equipment. That's not including stands, tools, and other things for maintenance on the bike. I guess it's a good thing that I knew it was going to be an investment going into it. Now, of course, this is a mesh jacket for the majority of the summer. Leather jacket otherwise, both with built-in protection. Back pad that is usable in both to maximize the actual certification level for protection on them. A pair of short gloves, pair of full gauntlet gloves, the helmet, 2 pairs of riding shoes, one for weekend fun, that's more of a technical shoe, well, boot, and then the weekly boot that I can wear on and off the bike, so I don't have to bring extra pair of shoes and other bullshit, and then you have the helmet, upgraded a different size cheek pads to get an even better fit for the helmet. Yeah, the lids, leathers, waterproofs, etc. always were more valuable than my bikes. Yeah, and all right, so including the what was that? What was it? Oh, total investment for the helmet, gloves, 2 jackets, pants. Actually, no, 3 jackets, 3 pairs of boots. The pants is $35.75. Rain gear, that's what cars are for. Oh no, the car is for when it's cold and wet. Like the rain gear in so my purpose for the rain gear, I actually am doing a 2-piece setup instead of the 1-piece. Yes, it'll cost a little more, but here's my thought. Those 2 pieces are going to be in my bag when I'm riding Monday to Friday, when there's the potential that I would need them. Because I would rather have them and not need to stop and throw them on, rather than get stuck out in the middle of a downpour because, hey, it's New England. Oh, you thought it was going to be sunny all day? Haha, fuck you. Yeah, and that's the thing, is the Monster is going to be my daily commuter unless I have to use the car for a specific reason for work. Otherwise, if I don't need the space that the car provides for picking up a part or taking a part to be shipped back, I'm going to be on the bike, weather permitting. And the reason why I say that is because I don't entirely trust people around here to pay attention when the weather gets shitty. It's not. I would choose to do the car then, not because of my ability, but because of everyone else. Okay, what's this going on? Hang on. You should have known I was. Okay, then. And Alan, yep, you see it too. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this. There we go. Yep, and I just responded to that before I got a car many years ago. Bike is a toy. I'm an unashamed fair weather biker. The car has heated. You know what? I cannot. It's going to be single digits Fahrenheit with wind chills in the lower than negative 10 degrees come tomorrow morning. And yeah, that's what the car is for days like that. How did you not know I was live? Because you don't pay attention to the schedule, Piggy. That's why. What about... So, what about the wife and bikes? See, this... I kind of hoped someone was going to ask about that, because my wife has known from the time I met her almost 7 years ago that I have had a passion for Ducati specifically, but motorcycles, sport and naked motorcycles in general. Cruisers have their own environment, and you know what? You're on two wheels. Good on you. Not my style. And knowing that, it was really her pushing this past fall that was like, you know what? You've wanted to do this for a while. Let's stop putting it off. So her birthday present to me this past year was her approval and push to get my motorcycle endorsement and to get a bike. The original plan... Oh no, not a midlife crisis. I've always had this passion. I've always had this. I'm the type of person that I would sacrifice what I want for everyone else in my immediate circle. In the people I care about that are closest to me, I would sacrifice what I wanted in favor of keeping them and everything else happy and proceeding. It took my wife saying, you know what, for your birthday this year, you're getting your motorcycle license, you're getting the endorsement, and then find a bike and get it. That's what I want for you. My wife said to me that she wanted me to stop putting this off, to do it and enjoy myself. And it was then, when she said this, that I thought, it was like, well, I'm doing a lot of stuff on YouTube. Why not make a dedicated channel for it? I've been watching a fair number of YouTubers who do moto vlogs and motorcycle related content. And it's like, why not throw my head into the ring? Why not do that as well? And it's one of those, I can do it too. Excuse me. But yeah, so the original plan was she and I both were going to go through the course, get our endorsements together. I was going to get my bike, and I was also starting to look at a bike that would fit her and that would be what she wanted. Because she's not a sport rider. She's not that knee drag mentality that I am. So she is more the laid back cruiser style, but she's 5'3". So finding a bike that she can fit comfortably on was tough, but I found a few models that were right up the alley. But this is where sometimes life will give you an opportunity only to kick you in the dick. So the way it worked out, because we were later in the year, we were doing this in the fall. By the time we got the course scheduled for the two of us, it was one of the there were 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks left in the offering for the year for the safety course. Now in the state of Rhode Island, you have to take the safety course in order to get your permit. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a local community college that hosts it at multiple locations, and from what I've heard, the price is actually really reasonable. And with that, it signed up the both of us. The way it was broken up, the way it should have worked, was it's over the course of 2 weekends. The first weekend, you're there all day Saturday in just the sit-down classroom portion of it, where you go over the MSF basic rider requirements, basic knowledge, go through all the training there, all the classroom stuff, all the intellectual side of it. And then the following weekend, you do range day 1 on Saturday, range day 2 on Sunday. At the end of range day 2 on that second day is your practical test of all the skills that you had been working on. and you pass that, you take that certificate that you passed, you go down to the DMV, and you have your permit. Here's the problem. Because it's an outdoor riding, there were weather considerations. We went through, we did the class, no issues. Weather was fine that weekend. The next weekend, the weather was horrible to where they canceled and rescheduled the practical parts of the course. Because they canceled it, we weren't charged a rescheduling fee, which is good on them. Actually, they and them, I approve. Piggy can go sit in the corner for 5 minutes. But so, because of the weather, it was rescheduled, and she was able to make range day 1. However, when they rescheduled range day 2 for, she was out of town that weekend. And she was out of town the available spots after. So it's been an annoying process to get her rescheduled so she can finish the process this upcoming spring. But after day 1, and she has her helmet, she has her the beginnings of her riding gear. She has more recent riding experience than I did going into the class. And she's more hesitant and more nervous about her own skills and actions on it. Which is another reason why I'm glad. Oh, they and them, if you want, you can get that one too. With that, she's actually wise enough. She's not sure how comfortable she'll be on my bike to do her own practicing before going back into the course. But that's a bridge we'll cross when we get there. I think she won't have a problem doing it. But we'll see. I'm not going to push her too much, because if it's something that she doesn't want to do, I'm not going to make her do it. I mean, she has enough on her plate to worry about right now anyways. Because for those who didn't know, she has a regular W-2 job, but she's also building another business herself on the side as well. Like me, I have a regular job, plus I go to school full time, plus I'm doing this. Now, I will be honest that, yes, I have the Patreon for this. So, link is in the description for those who want to be a part of the support and foundation at that level. And did someone say male pattern baldness? No, we are not asking for that person, Pig. But yeah, it's that nuance. There is a nuance to it. But so what would her dream bike be? So they and them, for her size and her comfort level, the Honda Rebel 250 is pretty much exactly what she was looking for. She likes the cruiser style, and with the size of it, she can stop and flat foot and control the bike. She doesn't want to have to worry about issues of a bigger bike and not being able to physically handle it when coming to a stop or starting from a stop, because our house where we would start most of our rides from is on a hill. And the majority of the way we're going to go, we're going to come out the driveway, make a simple turn, and we'll be going uphill at that point. So, never whack a pig before. Well, to be fair, you can only whack the troll accounts from Piggy. Which, by the way, Pig, there's no orgy here. But yeah, a big push and impotence for me getting the endorsement was the wife's approval. Because for those who didn't know, I actually, this is my second wife. My first wife was a CNA and a paramedic. So I wanted to get a bike shortly after coming back to the States after being in Japan for a couple of years. She was a hard no. My ex-wife, she did not want me on two wheels because of her experience as a paramedic. But when she realized that I was serious about it and how I have no problem wearing a full face helmet, I mean, fuck. The full retail price of my helmet is just shy of $1,000. I did not skimp out. Well, granted, I got it for cheaper than that because I know how to find deals, but I went with a full face race quality Arai. I couple years of working over my now ex-wife to get her open to the idea of me being on a bike. But by the time I did that, we had a kid, we were moving cross country, and I was getting a new job, and life got in the way. And that's really the only way to describe it. Life got in the way. But then that marriage ended up not working out, got divorced, had to really focus on other things, met my current wife, and it got to the point where we came to an agreement, and my current wife was like, you know what, you've wanted to do this for a while. We have the money for you to get started. Go do it. No, Gio, actually what I did is I caught when I first started looking at the gear, the helmet was marked down from 900 and change down to 700 even. But then I caught a sale which knocked it down to 500. So, plus at the same time, I was pestering the guys at the cycle gear store near me and trying on different helmets, trying on everything. I told them I was not going modular. I was going true full one piece, full face helmet. I tried on Shoei, tried on a couple of Arais, tried on HJC and Bell. Bell and HJC just felt cheap. Like, even the higher end ones just felt like you were getting what you were paying for. And then the Shoei, it really found, they felt quality. But the fit just wasn't quite right. I tried on the Arfa 1200 and the X14. The X14 actually did feel the better of the two. But I wasn't going to pay that price for for the helmet. And then I tried on the Defiant X, the Signet X, and the Quantum X on Arai. So I tried on all three head shapes from Arai. And the Defiant X was the closest, but it wasn't quite there. And it was at that point, it's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and order the Corsair X, the actual high-end one, because from talking with the guys and everything else, is from the sounds of it, there's the Defiant X and the DTX and Corsair X are all supposed to be intermediate oval head shapes. But for some reason, the Defiant was just slightly off on the shape. So with that, with being close, the closest in store they had to my head shape was the Defiant X. So took a gamble. I ordered the Corsair X in the 30th anniversary Freddie Spencer colorway. Tried it on, and it fit beautifully. Like, out of the box, the fit was exactly what I was looking for. Firm, but comfortable. Like, I'm used to wearing protective equipment from playing catcher in baseball and playing hockey. I'm used to wearing protective equipment and know how it should fit to actually protect you. So when I pulled on that helmet for the first time, the only gripe I had was there was a little bit more that could have been done at the cheeks. Yeah. The question with earplugs I have right now is, do I buy a reusable set or do I invest in a box of throwaways? That's really the question I'm at right now on earplugs. But yeah, earplugs are going to be a thing too. But with the helmet, the initial fit with the stock cheek pads are like, oh, it's there, it's secure, but I think it could fit even better. So I went ahead and I ordered the next size up of cheek pad. Threw those in, threw the helmet on, and I haven't had to mess with it since. The only messing with the helmet I've done since then is figuring out the mounting location of the camera for when I'm riding. Because actually, before I even considered doing the motovlog channel, my custom molded earplugs... Are you going to pay for them, Piggy? Are you going to pay for the custom molded earplugs? Granted, I would... If I can get it for the right price, that's a no-brainer way to go. Especially track days. But for just riding up and down the highway, the foam single-level protection, I got so used to them being in the Navy when I had to wear hearing protection up on the flight deck. I'm happy doing that in the interim. But just the fit of that helmet, like, at first I thought people were joking about just how some people would exude about how well an Arai fits if your head shape is for it. But I didn't pay $1,000. See, that's the key difference. What I paid so a mid-tier helmet from Arai is a lot of companies' top end. I got a helmet that even exceeds that at a mid-tier price. I paid almost a little over half what I should have on that helmet. But tomato. See, it's all about how you spend it and from there. But yeah, so got the camera mainly for the reason of, if I'm going to be riding, I don't trust motherfuckers. And a camera don't lie. If someone cuts me off and causes a crash, and I have the video that shows, no, motherfucker, you were the cause of this. That is the primary purpose of the camera, is a CYA cover your ass as I'm on the road day to day. But then I figured if I'm going to be daily commuting and getting all this footage, why not put it to use? Why not create a channel dedicated for it and have some fun with it? Which actually comes to the close of this. We've been going for a little over an hour now. And this Friday, normally we would be having a Veterans Talk Weekly at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are not having that episode on this Friday. The reason for that is I am going to be at a launch event for the 2019 product line offerings from Ducati at a local museum. So I will be filming on the way up and all the way through that event, which starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'll actually be hitting the road probably around 4:30, close to 5 o'clock. Drive up there and be there for the event, record it. So there will be 2 cuts that come from this footage. There will be a between 5 and 10 minute long YouTube cut. If you don't need the audio inserts, then the molded earplug seam. Yeah, and yes, and thank you, Alan, for reminding me. I will be getting a Bluetooth or probably Sena communication system installed with speakers. So that's another reason why I'd probably go with the foamies over custom molded for daily use. That way I can still hear through that. So yes, so Veterans Talk Weekly will be pushed back to sometime during the day Saturday, or we might skip a week. It depends on what else we have going on. But as of right now, no Veterans Talk on HE2 Productions this week, because Friday night I will be at a Ducati event in my area for the launch of the entire product line for 2019, which includes I'm not even sure how to describe it. I'll probably come up with something while I'm there actually seeing the V4R in person. But yes, the V4R is the main reason why I'm going to that. And the footage from this trip on Friday is going to end up being 2 types of production. There will be a 5 to 10 minute video that will be the YouTube cut that everyone will have access to here on this channel. However, there is going to be a more detailed cut. I don't know how long that one's going to end up being, for Patreons only. For the Patreon, for patrons only. And that will be the modus operandi of this channel going forward, where there will be the produced content that will fit in that roughly 10-minute range for videos on a weekly basis during the riding season here on the YouTube channel. The uncensored, longer cut material is going to be available through Patreon only. So, you know what, Jay? If you want to host it on your channel, we can talk about that later on tonight. But yes, the V4R does look to be an incredible bike. And Judd, if you're not already on the Patreon, do it, because there's going to be pictures of that. There's going to be video of it. And I am going to be selective of what the Patreons get versus the free YouTube stuff. I'm planning on getting there early because I would actually like to talk to the Ducati PR team that's going to be there as a way to help the channel grow from the beginning and everything from them. So, yeah. But with that, with no more questions, we've been going for almost an hour and 10 minutes, and dinner is ready and waiting, and I am fucking hungry. So thank you everyone who has shown up. This hour-long stream will remain on the channel and will remain available. This way, I might end up turning this AMA into a monthly thing. If you guys agree with that, after the video's done rendering, go ahead and comment below. And also people watching after it was aired live, comment below if you'd like to see this be a monthly thing. Also, be with this channel, be this as well as an additional perk for everyone on the Patreon page to have access to. Again, these are things that are coming down the pipe, and let's have some fun with this. Let's see just how kick-ass we can make it and give ourselves a distraction from our regular run of idiocy that we run into on the internet. But with that, you guys know what to do. You guys here in the chat are already subscribed. Fucking awesome. Love you guys. For those who are already patrons in the chat, you guys are phenomenal. You guys are really going to help drive the content of this as well, not just in quantity but quality, but also if there are any specific topics that we're going to talk about and cover, patrons will have that access, as we'll continue to do polls through the Patreon page to really manage and mitigate that stuff. But for everyone watching after and sharing this around, if you want to be a part of it, love to have you. And with that, I'm going to go eat and enjoy the rest of my night. Take care, everyone.